Hello, everybody. Let's continue our topic idea of cultural studies. In the last class, we have talked about Ferdinand de Saussure, then semiotics and signification. And now, in this class, we will discuss about Marxism and ideology. You might have heard about Marxism and you have studied it in your third year. That Marxism it get arised with Karl Marx, and how this Marxism as a theory focused on the classes of the society in the society, the social ideologies. So all these things are there. And then secondly, we have the ideology, how this ideology get formed. So that we will discuss in detail today in this class. If we are starting with this, because we have to study it with in reference to the cultural studies, okay, and Marxism and cultural studies, how these are interlinked with each other, and what is influence of Marxism on cultural studies, that we are going to deal in detail in this part. The British Marxist thought underwent radical transformations during the 1960s. Before 1960s, Marxism was a bit different. Their ideologies were a bit different. But in the 60s, there was a radical change, transformation in their thought, particularly in the British Marxist critics. And in the same era or in the same time, we can find Raymond Williams' Culture and Society, that has been published in 1958. And in this work, Raymond Williams criticized English Marxist critics as essentially irrelevant to any wider community of ideas. Ms. Raymond Williams criticized the British Marxist critics for their irrelevant ideologies, irrelevant ideas that are not related with the community or helpful for the community. And this attack was completely inappropriate. This was the attitude, and this attitude was increasingly inappropriate because, as we have talked in the first line, that in 1960s the British Marxists they underwent radical transformations during this period, and European Marxist thought provoked a break with traditional Marxism. Already I have told you that in the 60s the Marxism or their ideologies, their thoughts that get changed from the previous or traditional Marxism. And this was the break that has been taken place in the 1960s, and it embossed what has been called a complex or a critical Marxism. The Marxism before 60s, it was a bit different, and the Marxism that has been gone through the transformation, radical changes, that was different one, and this one was called as complex or critical Marxism. Actually, this change also, there are some other elements that influenced on it, and the influence of European theorists such as Lucas, Benjamin, Goldman, then Sartre was extended through English translations of their work in the mid 1960s. In the same period itself, these other European critics, their works has been translated into English, and these works also affected a large range of academic disciplines and also political formations. So this also has a strong influence on this new Marxist that we call as complex or critical Marxism, and they influenced on the Marxism itself. The tradition reframed the place and function of culture. Now this changed Marxism, that we are calling it as complex or critical Marxism. So this Marxism, this tradition, they reframed the place and function of culture, and that is very important for us in the cultural studies. Means previously, see, the traditional Marxism had devalued the importance of idea of culture. They defined culture as the part of superstructure of society, and thus simply a product of economic and industrial base. But now it has gone in a radical change. The Marxism, previous Marxism, they devalued cultural ideas. the idea of culture. But this new Marxism, that is called as critical Marxism or complex Marxism. So this new tradition, it reframed the place and function of culture. They changed their ideology about the culture. And in the previously, in the traditional Marxist philosophy, this idea of culture was defined, or culture was defined as a part of superstructure. You might have studied about the superstructure and base structure in the Marxism. Superstructure is that structure in which we have all the economically and industrially powerful personalities, particularly after the that industrial revolution. A new structure get arised, that is mainly the elite class of the society. Okay, so this elite class, economically powerful persons, they were the base, they were in the superstructure. And for traditional Marxist, this superstructure was the producer of the culture. Means the culture, which is a famous one, which is being adopted, imitated in the society, that was the production of this superstructure for the traditional Marxist. And that's why they simply said that whatever culture is there, that is the part of superstructure of the society. And so that is the production of economic and industrial base itself. And that's why they've devalued culture in the traditional Marxism. And cultural studies employed critical Marxist theory to launch attacks on the economism. Okay, now this economism is something different. It is a different term, because this economism means this is the belief, or it is a practice, that economics is the most important element in society. And what cultural studies or cultural critique do? These cultural critics, they employed critical Marxist theory to launch attacks on the economism. Means whatever economic beliefs were, whatever beliefs or practice were there, that economics is the most important element in the society. To attack that, cultural studies employed Marxist ideology, Marxist theory in the cultural studies. As we know, cultural study, it is an interdisciplinary part. Okay, and in it we have references to all these, and they have taken different ideas. They get inspired by different ideas from different theories, and in this way, these cultural studies, they used Marxist theory to attack economism in the analysis of cultural studies. Then we have Louis Althusser. Actually, this Louis Althusser argued that key ideological apparatus, that is particularly law, the family, education system, all these are as significant as economic conditions, because all these elements, means only culture, only economics, only that element are not only that is not responsible for the development of culture. But there are so many different ideological apparatus, different structures are there. The law is there, the family is there, the education system is there. So many different elements are there that are significant along with economic conditions in the society, in the development of culture. So cultural studies particularly insisted that culture is neither simply dependent on or nor simply independent of economic relationships. Means when we are thinking about culture or cultural studies, then culture is not only means it is not dependent on economics. It is not far away from economic, and also it is not so much dependent on the economic. It is a bit different. Means at some cases, at some level, the things would different, and rather it is called as there are many determining forces in it. Economic is also there, politics is also there, the cultural competing is also there, competing and conflicting. So all these things, economics, politics, culture, so they're competing and conflicting with each other in order to make up the complex unity of society. Because society it is a product of all these different things. In society we have different cultures, in society we have different economical groups, in society we have different political groups. different ideologies are there. So all these elements combinedly form a society. This is the complexity of the society, and that's why we have seen that this new the Marxism after 1960s or in 1960s, it is called as complex or critical Marxism. So this was the Marxism. This is the society. In this way, the society get formed, and culture is part of this complex society. Yes. And after that, if we move on to Karl Marx, okay, Marx aphorism is a quote that men make their own history, but not in conditions of their own making. And this has become an oft repeated dictum in this field, in this Marxism and its relevance with cultural studies. So in this part, this famous quote or aphorism by Karl Marx become most famous and repeated one. Here Marx says, men make their own history, but not in conditions of their own making. Now, this is something different. You might have known about different elements, different problems. So the problem of how the conditions in which we make our own history are determined as a central one for Marxist and for cultural studies theory. Now, what problem of how the conditions in which you make your own history that are important for them, that are determined, and these conditions that are central for Marxist also and cultural studies also. See, in our day-to-day life or everywhere you might have, you are using multimedia, internet, and all these things. So you get videos, particularly nowadays we can see there are some videos about UPSC aspirants and particularly the qualified candidates. We see there are many candidates, they get qualified, near about 300, 400, 500 candidates get qualified in UPSC. But among that, only 3 to 5 candidates, okay, who are qualified, they get attention of the culture, they get their videos, their interviews, their ideas or about them that has been circulated throughout media, throughout social media. It get viral. So why this happen, and who are these 3 to 5 candidates among every batch and all these things? There are other 400 students, 300, 400 students who get qualified, but only these 3, 4, 5 students, they get viral because of the conditions. Okay, all other, they might have all the facilities and all these things, they belong to elite class, upper class, everything, whatever they wanted to study, they might got. But these 3 to 4 or 5 students, they are there with the diverse condition, diverse different problems in their life, and facing all these different problems, they moved on to this position, and because of that they become history. Yes. So this is the point that we have to discuss here, means we are talking about. So we make history, men make their own history, but not in conditions of their own making. Means whatever you are doing, this is in the diverse conditions. Means in, suppose you yourself has set all the things and in that you are participating and you are winning in that, so that may not be counted as history. So when someone would be counted in the history, when he has all diverse conditions, difficulties, problems, and throughout that diversities, difficulties, and problems of life, if he overcomes by this and become successful, then that person creates history, and this become one of the most important element in the Marxism and as well as in the cultural theory. Marxism has always seen the notion of individualism as a central supporting mythology for capitalism, and the placement of the individual at the center of history has been vigorously resisted. Now, see, this notion of individualism, this is the central supporting mythology for capitalism. We know capitalism is different, Marxism is different. In Marxism, there is socialism, the things that miss every individual would pay attention. Miss in general, in whole, we talk about society. But capitalism is different. It is based on an individual. So in capitalism we can find notion of individualism. Just see, in capital countries, most of the capital countries, we can find out the 95% of the property of that particular country, or even throughout the world, if we calculate that. So 95% of the property belongs to 5% elite class businessmen and capitalist personalities. And the remaining 5% property, that would belong to the 95% public persons in the country or the world. So this is something irrational for Marxism, and Marxist, they talk about this. They talk about capitalism in this way. Means they criticizes the individual ideology. The placement of the individual at the center of history has been vigorously resisted. Means when a person creates his history, and at that time, if he alone is there at the center, and this is in the capitalism, it happens in the capitalism. So this notion, it has been resisted by the Marxist ideology, or the Marxist critics. They criticized this. After that, we will move on to the Marxism and ideology, particularly ideology now. So here we come to know about Althusser. Althusser argues that ideology operates not explicitly but implicitly. Now, ideology, what is this ideology? Ideology is the set of belief. Okay, it is philosophy of our own particularly. And this ideology means it is a set of belief, our philosophy, in what way we think, our ideas, our thought process. So all these things would be there. And for Marxist particularly, so this ideology, it is not explicit. Okay, this operates not explicitly. Explicitly means it is in general with great details. Okay, not in general, it is with great details. So they don't it don't focus on the great details of something. The Marxists don't focus on the clarity means the particular element, but instead it is implicitly means it is in general. Totalization would be there in the ideology. And we internalize ideology and thus are not easily made conscious of its effects. It is unconscious. Now see, whatever ideas are there, whatever ideology we create, so this ideology, that is internalize means making personal. Different elements what we observe in the society, that we internalize, that we make personal, and we create our own ideas. But all these process that are not easily made conscious of its effects. Means all these generation or generating this ideology, it is not conscious one, it is an unconscious process, and yet it has been seen as the core of our individuality. Okay, it is an unconscious process. Unconsciously we adopt ideology, we internalize it, and this internalization is the product of our nature. It becomes product of our nature, it becomes our nature, and we call it as our ideas, our ideology. And this, for Althusser, the notion of the essential self disappears as fiction. Now see, what your self was there, okay, what your inner self we can call, so this slowly disappears as a fiction. Okay, and it is in its space comes the social being. Means what our ideas, ideologies alone, that would be there, so they slowly disappears, and we adopt different ideology. We experience different ideas in the society, and we adopt that unconsciously, and in that unconsciousness we develop the ideologies that makes or that comes the social being. And in this way we become a social being. Means ourself we forget for some time, our self, essential self, that disappears within us, and then we become a social being, we become a social animal with the help of these ideologies which unconsciously we have gathered. We possess a socially produced sense of identity. Okay, And in this way, we accept so many different things. We forget our inner self, essential self, according to Althusser, and we accept the norms, ideas, all these things from the society. And when we possess all these things, okay, and this different things which we acquire from society, that becomes sense of our identity, and that becomes a subjectivity. Means we may not be individual now, and we become part of the society. And this subjectivity is not like the old unified individual self. What you were individually, what your self was there, when you would be completely detached from all other things. So that self, and now this subjectivity that you have encountered with, you have internalized different ideas from the society that are completely different one, and it can be contradictory, and it can change within different situations and in response to different kinds of address. So when we change, different situations would be there. In different situations, we would have different opinions. And this is something that get created. In this way, the ideology, our ideology get created. Our inner self, that is our old unified individual self, that idea get vanished slowly, slowly. And we adopt the ideology of the society. We adopt the ideology of our surrounding. And that becomes our ideology. Yes. After that, the post-Freudian psychoanalyst Jacques Lacan, you might have heard about him. Okay, the something later unconscious, letters in unconsciousness. That was his essay, famous essay. So this Lacan takes his notion further. Now this Althusser's notion, it has been forwarded further, and this Jacques Lacan appropriates the model of structural linguistics from Saussure and argues that our unconscious is a sign system that functions like a language. And here he applied Saussure's structural linguistics idea, the model of Saussure's structural linguistic, that sign, signified, signifier, all these things, and he used that, and he used that system in our to our conscious ideology or to our unconscious ideology, and he calls unconscious is a sign system that functions like language. In what way language get developed? In the same sense, our consciousness, our ego, superego, that Freud has communicated, means our development, individual's development gets started, and he has talked about different things, a mirror stage, initial stage, all these things. The lang of our unconscious is not produced by a unique individual. Now this is very important when we are talking about an individual, okay, or his ideas. So he says that the lang of our unconsciousness is not produced by unique individual. We don't produce the lang of our unconscious. Lang means it is a structure, it is a dictionary we can call of our unconscious. So this may not be produced by an individual, but it is produced by the culture. Yes. So what our unconsciousness is there, what unconscious lang is there, what type of sign we have. So all these sign system, it is not our own production, but it is the production of culture. Our unconscious is formed through the perceptions and language of others. Okay, whatever we develop within us, he has given us different 4 different stages: mirror stage, initial stage, and all these 4 different stages. So in that process, the human being, his conscious and unconscious ideas, how it get developed. So he talked about that, and he says that this unconscious is formed through the perceptions and language of others. Because when a child is there, at that time we listen to other, we try to follow, we try to imitate to others in our family, and in this way we develop our ideology. And so our view of ourselves is composed from a collection responses provided to us, not produced by us. What we collect, ourselves, means our views, whatever ideas we compose. So all these ideas, all these views, that are the collection responses provided to us, what we received from others, our surroundings, our family members, our parent. So what their responses to us, on that basis our views get molded there, and we don't produce that, we just observe it in our surrounding and we accept that. And so we are the subjects, not the authors of cultural process. Means we don't create culture, but we are the part, and in that part we accept all different elements, we become subjects there. Means the things are happening with us, we are getting that things, and then we become the subject in that, not the authors means we are not creating the culture, but we are adopting that culture, we are collecting all different elements, and then the culture is getting created with that, the cultural process is getting on. So we don't create culture, but the culture get created automatically with the collection of different ideologies, ideas, thoughts, views, process, and so many different things in our surrounding. So here we will stop today. The next part that we have structuralism and culturalism, that we will discuss in the next lecture. So till the time, thank you very much. See you in the next class.